All right. So it's 2:02. I am still letting some folks in, but I guess we'll get started. So my name is Laura O'Connor. I am CFMA's membership director. I want to thank you for joining us today for our July member benefit series featuring CCIFP certification. So for those of you that don't know, August is CCIFP month. So we usually feature our CCIFP member benefit series in August, but we wanted to do it sooner to give you guys a leg up on what's going on for August. So here we are in July. So with us today, we've got Brian Summers. He's Vice President of Knowledge and Practice for CFMA. Dole Dietrich from Forvis Mazars, who's a CCIFP and a member, and we have Dan Pickell, our new certification manager. So today they're going to give us an overview. They're going to explain why certification is an important step in your construction financial career path, what's involved with obtaining your certification and designation, and what resources are available to help you along the way. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to put them in the chat. There's a couple of us here, so we'll try and address them for you. So now I'm going to turn it over to Brian. Brian?
Thanks so much, Laura. I appreciate everybody being here today. A little plug for the member benefit series. Please take advantage of these. I know we put these out throughout the year at CFMA. I belong to an association, so I know I don't know all the value that my association provides. So please join these when you see them on your calendar. But thanks again for being here today and for your dedication to your professional development. I have some real great co-presenters with me. Joel Disek is the current chair of CCIP. He has obtained his CCIP in 2019 and is passionate about the designation. And currently, Forvis Mazar has 28 CCIPs, and there's more coming. Daniel Pickell has been a CFMA only for a couple weeks now as a certification manager here, and he brings a wealth of knowledge and experience and has led many successful certification programs over most of his career. So I appreciate my two co-presenters joining me today. And next slide.
1 second.
It's okay.
Here we go. Everyone can see that?
Yep.
Yes.
And I promise this is a slide that'll have the most copy on it today, so you won't see more copy on any other slide in this one. But like any other program, it's good to have the objectives in front of you. So we're going to understand more about the history and structure of certification. That's important, and probably why most of you are here. You want to see if it's right for you. So we're going to go into a lot of detail around if this program CCIP is right for you. Understand some of the eligibility, exam itself, structure, and the cost. And we're going to close with how you should prepare. That's always a question we get when we do these kind of sessions. The format, I know Laura specifically said a little bit of this, but we're using a Zoom format. We're going to have some polls along the way, so we want you to participate in those. Please use the chat for any questions you have. We'll try to answer those. If they're more on a personal level, just leave your email or cell phone number. We'll reach out to you personally if you have more specific question. Laura will be sending out the PowerPoint and the PDF file after the session's over, and also the candidate bulletin. If you haven't seen that yet, it's a really great resource, the CCIP candidate bulletin. We'll send that to you, and then please direct any specific questions to Daniel at certification@cfma.org. So we're going to roll right into the first polling question. Daniel, you want to take this one?
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian. So, Lori, can we go to the next slide, please? And launch that first poll. I think the first poll, I'll tee it up a little bit. Before we dive deeper into today's content, just want to get a sense of who's with us today. So we're going to start with this poll to learn about what brought you to the webinar. So once it pops up, if you could please take a moment to select the option that best describes your reason for attending today. You just getting started in your CCIP journey, actively preparing for the exam. Maybe you're here to explore what certification is all about. Or maybe you're an industry partner or an employer who's curious about how the certification adds value to the industry. So I think
Let's see. You guys aren't seeing that yet, are you?
not yet, no.
Now?
No.
Not yet. Yeah. So ultimately, this is the question will pop up in the poll. Feel free to read through it before you see it show up on your screen so that you can answer faster.
All right, give me 1 second. Try again. Well, you all see it up there, so.
Yeah.
I will just bear with me here.
Zoom doesn't always play nice during these types of
We
events.
practiced this
Anyway,
and everything.
we did, yeah. So it
Well,
worked
somebody
before.
actually said they saw it when they first came on to the meeting, so it was there at one point.
Now it's giving me a new poll. Sorry, I gotta let a few people in and all right, hang on one sec.
All right. I think ideally we would figure out why people are coming to the webinar so we could tailor some of our responses in future slides to address some of the questions. If the poll doesn't end up working, I think it's fine. We'll just continue on. So
And maybe, Dan, we could use the chat, Dan. If some people would put the answers in the chat, that might work out better if Laura can't get that going. So,
all right. So I see someone saying it's new to them. They're looking to learn more about it. That's appropriate response.
All right,
People that
let's
are interested in taking the exam next 6 to 12 months. All right, I think that makes sense. Want to find out what you're getting yourself into.
yeah, we got some
Then
quick
1 to 2
typers here.
years.
It's flying in.
Yeah, faster than I can read them. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot
Sure is.
looks like there's a lot of interest in taking the exam
wait.
soon or learning more about it.
Laura, how
Yeah.
about we move on and maybe hit the next poll if that works
Yeah,
for you?
All right, this didn't come up at all because it looked like it was launching.
I haven't seen anything yet now, but I think we've got a lot of
All
responses.
right, sorry about that,
Go
guys.
through that.
We
It's
still
okay.
got some folks coming in. All right, next slide. Sorry about that, everyone.
So history here, if you look at this, basically CCIP is the only nationally recognized certification for financial management competency in the construction industry. It was developed in 2004. We just had our 20th anniversary, which you see in that background photo there. That's a picture of our recognition wall. So basically at every conference, we list all our CCIPs. Great photo op for people. They put it on social media. Real nice recognition there. Currently, we have more than 1,200 CCIPs that are active. We have a retention rate or renewal rate of 95%, which is the highest we've ever had, which really shows that the CCIPs are valuing the credential. It is the ANAV and ANSI accredited, which means that it goes through a rigorous process to ensure that the program is, definitely meeting all the standards of any certification program. I experienced that about a year and a half ago, and it's about 2 days worth of questions, and they hit on everything possible of the certification program, so you know how ironclad the program is. And there you see in the middle there, I'll mention Gordon Marshall is one of those photos. He's the one that first identified that over 20 years ago as a potential value proposition for CFMA and really drove certification. So I always like to point out Gordon Marshall from the Chicago chapter. Next slide. So basically just some data on what makes up certification. If you see job titles, a majority of those job titles, probably about half, are in the financial arena, but there are some other ones too, president, VP, director, and obviously partner on the associate member side, CPA firms. The states usually migrate to where we have more chapters. So Texas, California, Pennsylvania are good examples of that. They really help drive certification at a local level. And on the right-hand side, you see the current makeup from our industry categories there with general contractors and subspecialty trades leading the pack there. And then on the associate side, public accounting firms are our number one public group that's certified. Jill, you want to talk a little bit about certification right for you? Next slide. Oh, I missed this. I'm sorry, I missed this one right here. This is the average age of certification, and we looked at this for the first time last year. We don't have data on every part of the industry as far as age goes because it's optional. But we can tell you that the certification average age at the time you take the exam in any fiscal year has gone down from 61 there to the 38%, 38 years of age. So it is changing dramatically. That 61%, I know we had a lot of people who were veterans in the industry when they took the exam at first, and they were just supporting certification. That's why it was a little higher in 2004, but the age has gone down dramatically. Next slide. I think it's on you, Joel.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. If you want to take a look at and see there's certain things that certification right for you when you're asking those questions. If you're considering whether the CCIFP certification is the right fit for you, the bullet points on this slide offer a strong overview of its benefits. One of the ones I wanted to focus on, though, is the last point in particular. It speaks directly to the credibility and the confidence that certified professionals inspire amongst banks, insurance carriers, bonding companies, accounting firms, and other service providers. In a fast-moving industry where things can, turnover can happen and things can occur, having the certification reinforces trust and stability with your partners and advisors. Another area to consider if it's right for you is it gives you a strategic advantage in hiring. Recruiting a CCIFP certified candidate brings another advantage. It gives you assurance of industry-specific expertise. Construction finance isn't like any other industry. It requires a specialized knowledge to truly thrive. By hiring a certified professional, you ensure your team is equipped to operate at a high level from day one. One other item to consider too is how it elevates your career and your company. Accounting and finance often attracts highly motivated and competitive individuals. One powerful way to stand out, both personally and as a company, is by earning and promoting the CCIFP credential. It speaks volumes about your commitment, sharpens your edge in the market, and can be a catalyst for career growth. Now let's move on to the next slide. This slide features real testimonials that highlight, how the CCIP certification has made a lasting impact on both individuals and organizations. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit more about construction industry partners. For our construction industry partners, the shared mission is clear: to deliver outstanding service to our clients. Construction demands a specialized skill set, and the Certified Construction Industry Financial Professional designation is a powerful way to demonstrate that you possess both the expertise and the insight necessary to excel. Clients want advisors who understand their business, and becoming a CCIFP proactively answers the question, do you really know my industry, before it's even asked. This certification sets you and your organization apart from your competitors by signaling deep industry knowledge and dedication to excellence. On the next slide, we'll look at some more testimonials. These underscore the value with firsthand testimonials from professionals who've experienced the impact of the CCIFP. Now I think we might be ready for our next poll.
All right, let's give
All
this
right, bear
another
with me
shot.
here.
All right, so the second poll, we're asking you to rank 5 different areas where the CCIFP can make an impact. These include things like strengthening credibility, validating industry experience, expanding career opportunities, increasing professional value, and growing your network. We don't see it pop up yet. So I think this might be another opportunity for, if you can put your answer, maybe top 1 and 2 in the chat, so we can get a sense of
Sure.
what it is that you'd like to see, how it impact your
You guys see that QR code?
QR code. Yeah.
Try that. It's not working how it's supposed to work, but it gave me a QR code. Is that working at all?
So we'll look to see if any of the responses come in. I see people are saying validate experience. I see increase overall value, another validate experience. Some people are saying that okay, we're getting some poll results. Great.
Yep.
Strength and credibility right now is coming out as number 1, but yeah, again, like we saw in the chat, validating expertise in the industry, increase overall value, and grow network 3%. It's a little bit lower than we typically see, but I think that's another benefit of being part of CFMA and being a CCIP, is that you have this these inroads of individuals that are working in the same industry, that have the same skill set. You can really, if you go to CFMA.org, you can get in the Connection Cafe, ask questions there too. So you can really be part of a growing industry and network through CFMA and through the CCIP, in particular. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for taking some time to fill that out. I appreciate it. All right. So we're going to go into the exam format and costs. So there are two exam modalities that we offer right now. The first one is through Pearson VUE, so our testing vendor, and that's for in-person testing. If you decide to sign up for the Pearson VUE option, you get 90 days to sit for the exam. And you can go to any of Pearson's testing sites in the US. There are hundreds of them. They're mostly located in large cities, but also some suburban areas. When you're taking the exam, you can bring a basic calculator. They'll provide paper and pencil at the testing site. And the benefit of taking it as a computer-based test at Pearson VUE is that you find out how you performed right at the end. So there'll be a quick questionnaire, and then you'll find out if you passed or not at that point. Similar to the Pearson VUE, it's another computer-based testing option, but it's this live remote proctor environment. So that's where you can take it at home, at work, from a hotel room. We've seen people do that. And that eligibility window is open for 14 days. So you can take it, again, at any of those sites without leaving your home or work. You can also schedule it any time during the day. So if you decide you want to take it at 1 o'clock in the morning, you can certainly do that. It's available 24/7. You can have paper and pencil during the exam administration. Again, you will get instant pass-fail results. And one thing I do want to say is if you take that exam through LRP, make sure if you need a bathroom break, because you're allowed bathroom breaks, make sure that the person that is proctoring the exam knows you're leaving to go to the bathroom break. The last thing we want you to do is to get up, go to the bathroom, and they think that you abandoned the exam and then they terminate your exam. So just a little helpful piece of advice right there. Now looking at the exam fees, so application fee for first-time applicants is $250. The exam fee is $600. So that's $850 for the initial exam. If you have to retake it, then it's a reduced fee for the retake candidates for the application and for the exam. So a retake, all said and done, is $300. Next slide, please. All right, so a little bit of exam information. So there's a scaled score of 300 to pass the exam, which right below that indicates you need to get 139 questions correct out of 200 multiple choice questions. Unlike some other exams, if you skip a question without answering it, it's not going to help your score. So a little piece of advice is if you're not sure what the answer is, guess. That will have a better chance of helping you than just skipping it. You can mark items that you want to come back to, so you can indicate that you skipped it and then go back to review it once you've had time to think about it as you're going through the exam. You'll be able to see the countdown screen the entire time, so it'll show you how much time you have left. Now, this exam is a 200 question, 4.5-hour exam, so you'll want to take your time. You'll want to go through it maybe a couple different times just to make sure that you're answering it to the best of your ability. Again, bathroom breaks are allowed. While you're taking a bathroom break, the timer will continue to count down. So that's something to keep in mind. Basic calculators are allowed. Can't be programmable, just so you can't sneak in some crib sheets. Now the exam windows that we talked about. So the 90 for the Pearson VUE in-person testing, and then the 14 days for that live remote proctor. They start as soon as you get your authorization to test. So once you complete the application, you submit it. Once we've received it and accept your application, you then have that exam window to take the exam. You can take the exam up to 3 times, and then you'll need to wait a year to reapply as a new applicant if you are unsuccessful each of those times. Next slide, please. All right, so to become CCIP certified, there are 3 different pathways that someone can take. First one relates to having a bachelor's degree. Now, for this to be applicable, you need to have at least 12 credits of business-related courses. That could be accounting, finance, management, something relates to business. For that, you also need to have 4,000 hours of experience over the past 5 years. So that's the first pathway. Second pathway is you can have an associate's degree. Now that needs to be in the business genre. So finance, accounting, management, something like that. And there are 8,000 total hours of experience required for that particular pathway. And then there's the third pathway, which relates to someone having a high school diploma or equivalent. They don't need a higher degree. They don't need a bachelor's or associate or something else. But what they will need is a total of 12,000 hours of experience over the past 5 years. And for each of them to earn your certification, you obviously need to pass the exam. Now, what it doesn't say on here is that there is sort of a fourth pathway. So that's kind of a unique offering that CFMA is providing for candidates here. And that's that you can challenge to take the exam without meeting the eligibility requirements. So maybe you don't have your experience or you haven't completed your degree yet. You can challenge the exam and take it. Now, if you pass, then you have 5 years to complete the rest of the eligibility requirements regarding whether it's getting your your bachelor's or whether it's completing all those years of experience to meet those requirements. So you can take the exam first and then meet the requirements later to become CCIP certified. So that's a really cool and unique offering related to the certification. Right, next slide, please. All right, now, when it comes to scheduling to sit the exam, it's relatively easy. You can either click on the link that's on the slide, or you can go to cfma.org, log in, and then you go to the dashboard. And when you get to there, you'll see at the top it says CCIP application. Just sort of hover over it, and something will drop down so you can start a new exam application. Now you'll complete that application. You'll indicate whether you want to take the exam in person or in that remote live proctoring environment. If you're requiring any exam accommodations, you're going to want to indicate that in the application. We do allow people that require that need accommodations to submit that. Please submit whatever relevant documentation there as well, so we can take a look at it and give you what you need to be able to complete the exam. You'll put in your experience and education, sign off on the code of ethics, and then you'll complete the application by going to the checkout and paying. From that point, then you'll get some emails from us and from our testing vendors to be able to schedule the exam.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Looking at this slide here, this is a slide I typically tell people who are somewhat new to certification and just want to learn what's on the exam itself. These are our knowledge domains, and you see they're broken up by percentage. The first three are financial related topical domains, and basically they make up over 50% of the exam, which is about 58%. There are some newer topics in the past couple of years. We like to keep obviously the test as fresh as possible, so we do some analysis work every 5 years. We do a job survey to make sure we're in line. So one area we've included is leasing more. Obviously 606 is included now in there, and some other ones as well. So I'm not going to go through all these slides coming up, but Laura, if you can just click and pause a couple seconds on each one as you go through. Again, if you're thinking about understanding more what's on the exam itself, look at the knowledge domains, and then also subdomains in each area here for accounting and reporting. You see there's many subdomains for accounting and reporting. Next slide. Income recognition. Again, we don't point it out, but I mentioned 606 on there. Budget and planning. Risk, taxes, and human resources. Again, smaller percentage there on those. And in legal and information technology. Cybersecurity was recently added in the past couple of years too. You can imagine the need for that, and we thought it was important to include on the exam based upon the responsibilities of a typical CCIP. All right, Joel, over to you.
Excellent. Thanks, Brian. So how to prepare? One of the things, we'll go through each bullet point. So we ask you make a commitment, and you could take the pledge here by searching on that link and clicking on that link. And I think the slides will be available, correct? Afterwards?
They are afterwards. We're going to send those out. Yeah.
Okay. So what that pledge does is it's a good way to give notice, make people aware you're committed to obtaining the certification. And it also might alert some people that might be able to help or might be able to reach out and do some things for you and know that you're, help you along your way and on your journey. The second piece, the study resources, there's a great link here to go through all those things, and we'll talk about one or two of those on the next slides. As far as one of the big questions we usually get is, what time commitment am I looking at? Where's it at? Well, we know everybody moves at their own pace, but based on some information, we're able to obtain an average from some past candidates and kind of try to give you a gauge on where things are at. And typically people say there's somewhere between that 50 to 100-hour commitment to study and get ready for the exam over a 3 to 6 month period. But again, we understand everybody moves at their own pace and does things at their own learning level. The last point is really one of the more important ones. It is really, I think we've seen success with group studying, and the groups can be at the chapter, regional, or even national level. There's an added benefit to this. There's some camaraderie there and also some accountability. And I think there's also gives you resources to talk and ask questions and do some things amongst the group that will help each other. Somebody might have different areas of expertise that they could add to the group. So the last thing I want to mention there is there's also a dedicated section of the Connection Cafe to CCIFP candidates. And like we would encourage you to use that again for questions, comments, and asking different things about the exam. So now we can move to the next slide. So the study guide is one of these tools we talked about. And I think depending on your preference, there's many things, many tools you can use to prepare for the exam. The study guide here is all these different things here. It's been updated with all the items that we've got listed. And these tools are very useful. It gives you some flexibility, and it makes it very convenient for you to prepare for the exam. Whether it be flashcards, whether it be study plans, there's a practice exam, there's some assessment tools to give you an idea what areas you might need to focus on or not. And we can move on to the next slide. We have an overview course. Typically, the overview course it was at the national conference this year, and there's usually another viewing of that or another session of that, typically in August. It's an 8-hour session that covers all of the different domains that's required for the test. And I think it's a great way to prepare for the exam. And again, personal preference wise, the study guide and overview session were what I used to study for the exam. I think it was a great fit for me and what I needed to do, and it helped me get prepared and take the exam. The book that we mentioned, and you'll see that mentioned throughout, is the authoritative reference source authored by CFMA, and it can be a helpful tool if necessary. So on the next slide, we just thought we'd throw out there some encouraging quotes for you to take a look at as you go along this. We want to make sure that you're not alone. There's plenty of resources and help available for you as you go through this. So please feel free to reach out. So lastly, I think we're ready for the next poll, I believe.
I'll give it a try.
We'll give this final poll a shot.
Let's
So
see
this is
what
where we want to
happens.
understand what's the most valuable part of the session to you. So it's an understanding the history of the CCIP. Oh, look at that.
You got it.
It popped up. I'm excited.
Third time's a charm.
So
That was the
Takes
one we
time to
didn't
throw-
practice.
that's right. Maybe that's why. Maybe we shouldn't have practiced. So, is it that the CCIP certification is right for you? Understanding, whether you're eligible. I think that's a great question. Something that I'd recommend to everyone is take a look at the exam blueprint. Sort of Joel alluded to it earlier, and it's those content domains. But what you want to do is look at that and determine, based on your experience, based on your understanding, your knowledge, how well would you perform in each of those different content domains, and then think about a studying plan from that. All right, so from the poll, we can see understanding how you should prepare. Again, checking out the exam blueprint. I think that's a great start. Looking at those content domains. Now, on those earlier slides, it says 21%, 9%. That's the percentage of the questions on the exam that directly relate to that content domain. So you want to really focus on those bigger domains, but also keep in mind, you should know about human resources, IT, cybersecurity, things like that. That'll really help you as well. Okay, yeah, I think good results there. Appreciate the response. All right, so like we said earlier, we're coming up on August, which is CCIFP month. We're really excited about that. And there is some information that we want to share about what that means. Laura, if you could go to the next slide, please. All right, so during the month of August, which is CCIP month, there's an overview on demand series which is available. So that's 4 different days over 2 weeks. And the overview gives you a really good idea of what to expect on the exam. So if you're really considering taking the exam soon, you want to take advantage of CCIP month, would consider looking at the overview on demand series. Now, members can also participate in the self-study cafe discussion that's on the our Connection Cafe. What's really important and exciting about August at CCIP month, though, is that if you apply for and pay for your initial certification exam or a retest, you will get another test for free. So if you pay for it in August, you'll have the same eligibility window as everyone else for the 90 days for the in-person or the 14 days for live remote proctor. But if you're unsuccessful with that first attempt, you'll have the opportunity to retake it for free if you sign up for and pay in the month of August. And you'll have a full year to take that retest in that, for free. So I think that's a really great benefit for CCIP month. So I'd recommend, if you're considering taking the exam soon, use the benefit of CCIP month, go through the process. If you're not sure if you meet the eligibility requirements, start an application anyway. You can fill out your experience, you can fill out your education, and it'll tabulate for you the number of hours that each of those experience will count toward for your certification application. I think Joel mentioned earlier, but there's the CCIP pledge, so you can complete that, and that will send regular emails providing some resources related to the CCIP exam. So I think that's a really great benefit as well. If you know someone who's interested in taking the CCIP, you can send the presentation today to them once we send that out. And you can also look for us on social media. LinkedIn's the big one for us, but and also feel free to tag us as well. All right, next slide, please. All right, look at that. We're right at the end. So we had some questions. I think we answered a lot of them so far related to eligibility. What you would expect on the exam. If you have specific questions about whether you meet the requirements after you've completed the application, like, does this count? Or, I already took the exam, what should I do? Or it's August, how do I make sure that I'm taking advantage of it? Feel free to call or email us. Certification@cfma.org is a really great way to reach out to us. It may take a day or two for us to get back to you, especially after something like this. But we're happy to answer your questions and provide the support that you need so that you can get certified and advance your career in the construction finance industry.
All right. So go ahead, Brian.
No, thanks. I was going to say thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And again, as Daniel said, we'll be able to answer any personal questions outside of this on your eligibility and other things that you might need for certification.
Yep. So to wrap up, I want to thank you, Joel, for joining us today, and Brian and Dan. I appreciate you taking the time to talk about August being CCIFP month and how that can benefit our members. I encourage you all, if you're not CCIFPs, to take the pledge to start on your journey, and to use that August benefit to your advantage to be able to have that extra retake if you need it. And so I will be sending out an email with the slides. It'll be a recording of the session. We'll have some links that are helpful to you of questions that you may have asked here. Contact information for Brian and Dan if you have specific questions, anything of that nature. So we'll get that out in the next day or so. And otherwise, you can email certification@cfma.org or always info@cfma.org if you have questions. And other than that, we went 5 minutes over. So thank you all for bearing with us there. I hope you found this informative, and I appreciate all for being with us today. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. And take care.